As professional musicians, you both have taught and or performed at numerous festivals. Can you tell us what that is like?
You want to go first? Or you want?
Can we tell you what it's like? You know, each one is a bit different, and the one thing that is in common, I think, with all of them for me is that there is somewhat a breakneck pace that it seems to move at. Most of the time because I'm the one teaching early in the morning. So, you know, I'm the last one leaving the concert and the first one there in the morning, and, you know, so there's that, and the lack of sleep. At any festival, I don't sleep, especially when I'm running it. I don't sleep. If it's just a festival that you're teaching at, it's a little bit more of a, I think, a laid-back pace, a little bit more. But when you have to perform at it and teach at it, there's a lot of gear shifting. And when you're seeing more than, for me, I can't even put a number on it, put a low number, more than 3 students, there's a very constant sense of having to shift gears one to the next, because you could be having, again, some of the age group that we mentioned, like at our festival, you could have someone who's getting their DMA here, and then be teaching, again, a very talented young 12-year-old, and having to shift that mode of thought, not only in the level of repertoire, but just the sheer difference in person and personality and age and making those relationships. That can be very taxing. That can be very tiring. With this, I mean, there has to be some level of continuity between those lessons. And when you're doing that with 12 new people or 10 new people, it can be a little shocking at first, especially the first 2 days. Like, oh my God, okay, so what this person played? Okay, great, yeah, I remember exactly what I said to you, but it takes a little bit of recall to be able to do it. But all in all, I mean, with the level of flexibility that a performer or teacher has to have, I mean, that's also part of the nature of what we do, is there has to be that ability to I don't want to say improvise, but to be able to be flexible with the demands that come at you with little to no knowledge of what you're about to hear.
For me, the biggest problem is going from an hour lesson, which is what we do on a regular basis. If we're doing the festival here, it's 25, 30 minutes. Well, that's not too bad. But now that means you have to, while the student is playing, you have to pick out, for me, I have to pick out what I think are the most important things I can cover, that I can cover in 30 minutes. Chris and I tend to be very conscientious in trying to give, at whatever the time limit we have, as much as we can. The performance aspect of it, depending on the festival you're teaching, sometimes, you know, if we're teaching with colleagues, you know, other guitar teachers, and you have to play a concert, that's not so tough.
When students are looking at festivals to participate in, what are some things they should keep in mind?
For me, who they're going to study, who's going to have the lessons, who's doing the teaching, how many lessons are you going to get with that person, okay? If it's a smaller festival, what's the reputation of the faculty as far as teachers in festival situations and master classes? Do the reports that we hear from, whether it be our students or other students that we encounter at festivals, do they speak very, very positively about their experience, or do they feel very negative? Because really, the way I think for my students, I want my students to get the most positive experience they can get. So I don't want to be thrown into a pack of wolves where the guy's really upset today and he's going to start screaming at you because, you know, for whatever reason. So that's really my criterion.
There's not much I can add to that. I'm in full agreement.